Good afternoon. It's time for our fourth installment of our screencasts for today. This one deals with inserting our custom rollover buttons into Dreamweaver. So let's just pick up right here in Dreamweaver. We've had this kind of sample web page that we've been building to show us how to build the custom banner, which we already built and inserted into our web page per our plan. Just as a little reminder, here was our plan. We also, in our last tutorial, made four custom buttons with 2 states, an up state and an over state. And so we've got all those image files done and ready. And what we're going to do right now is look at how we actually insert them into Dreamweaver. So I've got my file open in Dreamweaver. Before I get started, I'm actually going to take a second and look at my file panel in Dreamweaver. Before I roll through with this and start getting ready to insert and put all of my buttons in, I want to take a quick check to make sure that I see all of the button files that I'm planning to use inside the images subfolder, and check out your file extensions. Make sure that you did not accidentally put any .psd files in the images subfolder, because that's not helpful. Okay, we want the web ready media ready to get inserted into our website. So there we go. We've got all of our images, they're right in there. For inserting these, I have again kind of created some dived out areas of my website, and I created a nav div, and we can just check really quickly in our code. There it is. I have a nav div. And inside my nav div, I had put a note that said, hey, I'm going to put my buttons in here. There's 4 images. I have to make them. When I'm done, I'm going to actually insert them right here in this space. That's what my note said. I don't need the note anymore because I'm actually ready to go ahead and put the buttons in. So I'm going to clear out my note, and I do want to make sure that I am putting my image files for my rollover buttons inside, in between the start and end nav code. All right, so how am I going to get them in there? I'm going to insert, right? When we insert, there's a variety of different things that we can insert from our insert panel. These same things are actually available to insert through the insert menu. I'm going to use the panel because it's a little simpler, I think, to use that as my interface. And in the past, we've inserted images and we've used this standard insert an image, like, button. We want to look for not necessarily just the insert an image. We want to insert a special kind of image. We want to insert a rollover image. Okay? So make sure you're choosing the rollover image from the insert panel. I'm going to name my image. The first image I'm going to insert is going to be home. This naming an image, this is just a little reference that's created in the simple JavaScript. If you don't name them, Dreamweaver's just going to name them. Image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4. I find it much easier just to name them. We'll see that naming popping up in our code, and we'll look at the code after we get these inserted and we kind of get used to that process. So image name, I'm naming it home. I'm going to browse to find my original image. This should, if you have correctly managed your files using Dreamweaver's site management, take you straight to your images subfolder, and I can look for my, oh, there it is, home up JPEG, and I'm going to open. Then I'm going to choose my rollover image. Again, I'm going to browse home over JPEG, open that up. I should always checkbox that I want to preload the rollover image. It will allow the rollover to show up more quickly. What will happen is it will download the rollover images at the same time it downloads the other images. And we want to put some alternative text in here. And I also want to have a when clicked go to URL. That's the file that will be connected to when this image gets clicked. And if you're wondering, like, wait, how did we know that? We knew that because we had a plan. We said back in our plan that the home button was going to link to index.html. So again, I'm not making that up while I'm inserting the button. I had a solid plan that I'm referencing. When I'm done, I'm going to say, okay, and it's going to insert my very first image. Cool. We're going to insert the rest of the images, but I really do want to take a little second and just kind of zoom in and look at our code. When we are inserting the code for these images, it's not going to be just the link code, the href, or just the image code, imgsrc is equal to file path to image with my alternate text. It's going to have this other sort of code in there. It's going to have this on mouse out, on mouse over. And that's a short piece of JavaScripting that's automatically written for us by Dreamweaver. And it's essentially telling it like what happens when the mouse is interacting with this area of the screen. If you recall, we named our button home, and that's why this word home is showing up right there. You're going to also see other kind of code that got added in that you didn't put there, but it's part of the interactivity that got created whenever we inserted the rollover image. You're going to see some onload code get nested into your body tag. You're also, if you look up in the head of your document, you're going to start seeing some image swap code. This is some JavaScript that's being written by Dreamweaver to allow that functionality to happen with that rollover button. Okay, you don't have to do anything with that code. I just want you to realize that it's there. It's being inserted by Dreamweaver, and that's part of what is necessary for us to actually make these buttons work. Okay, I inserted my first button. I'm going to click in to my code entirely after my A code closes, because I have an A graph that starts all of this, add my image, rollover, and I have an A code that closes. I'm going to click right in there. I'm going to insert the rest of my buttons, and it's going to go pretty quickly. And I'm just going to kind of breeze through this as fast as I can. I am likely, for the purposes of demonstration, going to not type a whole lot in my alternative text, because I want to quickly work my way through adding, inserting all of my buttons. And last button. My buttons are going to fit perfectly in the space allocated because I planned it that way. And again, what you don't want to do is build and create a whole bunch of, whoops, I don't have files created yet, so I actually have to type these. What we don't want to do is build and create a whole bunch of buttons that don't fit precisely in the space allocated for them, because that's problematic. Okay, so I'm done inserting my buttons, and I just said all this stuff about how I had a great plan and all of my buttons were going to fit perfectly underneath my banner. And as we can see on our screen, that's not happening. And then I preview this in a browser, and sure, I see that it's totally not happening. And then you just have to say, I hate it when that happens. But I do know exactly why this is. If I look closely at these, oh, cool. I previewed in my browser so I can see that I have my rollover effect happening, which is kind of nice, adds a little bit of interactivity. But I actually have a little bit of a space right here. And it's because I noodled around and was looking at my code. And these images, if you remember, images are inline elements. They get treated like text. I'm betting you anything that I left a space bar, like I hit the space bar and left a space character in my code. I'm almost sure that's what it is. So let's do a little bit of code looking here. That was for my, oh, there it is. This was the code for my home button. This is the code for my about button, and there it is. There is a little space in between those. Okay, so I did have a solid plan, and my buttons do fit kind of nicely straight across in Dreamweaver. I am looking at this in live view, which is why I'm able to see the rollover effect being previewed in Dreamweaver. If you are working in design view, you're not going to be able to see that. Sometimes people get frustrated by that because they think, wait, I just put all this stuff in, I'm supposed to have this interactivity, where's it at? You will be able to see it in live view. Okay, kind of nice. I rarely believe live view. When I want to see what's really going on, I actually go ahead and preview it in a browser so that I get kind of the full effect. So this kind of concludes what we were going to be doing in our class meeting today. We finished out our visual design presentation. We talked about how to make a custom banner. We walked through our demonstration of making custom buttons with a rollover effect. And so I think you have the technical skills that you need now to finish out planning your basic website, the Orchids website, and also to start really creating the media that you're going to need to use, the images that you're going to need to use. That said, I have to tell you that as far as visual design goes, this example is really not that great. I don't think I would in real life use the same background image for a banner and then again for my buttons. It kind of comes off looking very sort of busy, sort of clownish almost. I mean, on the fly, the only thing I can think that I could maybe do to fix this up a little, if I added like a little bit of a margin to the bottom of my header, I could get like a little band of solid color in there. I don't know. I mean, that kind of helps because I get a little bit of visual distinction there, but maybe not exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. Anyway, that kind of concludes where we're at today with our screencasts. These are going to stay posted for the balance of the semester so that you can refer to them whenever you want to make custom banners or custom buttons for your web pages. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks.